marriage the same way women look at marriage.
Okay.
Marriage ain't something that we look at as like this is the end all be all goal. We more so, I think, for men, we idolize success and like, you know, having that power.
That's on our goal.
That's our goal. I don't know too many men that are like, man, my dream is to be married. Like, I don't be hearing that.
Just when everyone thought the Love is Blind drama had finally cooled down, Gravesande has entered the chat, and let's just say, fans have a lot to say about his reaction. After AD's beautiful engagement to Love is Blind UK's Ollie Sutherland went public, Clay couldn't resist breaking his silence. And what he said or didn't say has the internet completely divided. Some think he's heartbroken, others believe he's just chasing clout. But one thing's for sure, Clay's name is back in headlines, and the timing couldn't be more interesting. Because this isn't just another reality TV breakup. This is about regret, timing, and what happens when the person you walked away from finds everything they once wanted without you. AD has officially moved on, and Clay's reaction is stirring emotions across social media.
Beautiful, baby. You did really, really good. How do you feel about it? You feel like it was executed well?
I don't think it could have gone any better. Like, as in, I love the fact that we was able to, it was a beautiful location, we had the sun setting, you looked amazing. It just felt really, really right. And like, I could tell as soon as I could tell that you knew, the way your face lit up, I was like, okay, I've done this right. Do you know what I mean? I knew I'd done it at the right time in the right location. And it was beautiful that we were able to have the team with us, like part of the team that you started this whole journey with, there to share it with.
From cryptic posts to emotional interviews, fans are wondering if Clay's still stuck in the past or if he just realized what he lost too late. So, how did we get here? Let's rewind the story, because this Love is Blind saga isn't over. When Love is Blind Season 6 aired, Gravesande and Amber Desiree, better known as AD, were one of those couples that everyone was rooting for. They had chemistry. They had real, deep conversations that made people believe in the experiment again. From their early pod moments to their playful dates outside the pods, they looked like a couple that could actually make it. But behind the charm and laughter, there were cracks. Clay had walls up, not the kind you can easily break down.
It's responsible of me to say yes in this time when I'm not ready to give you 100%, and you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want me saying yes and being half-assed with marriage. You wouldn't want that. And I've said I'm not ready for that. And like, I'm feeling bad because I see you crying, it's hurting me. It was a game time decision for me. I want to reconsider everything. And it's just for me to say off a great 2 weeks, this is gonna be my wife forever. I could not make that decision to you today.
He was open about his fears of commitment and his complicated relationship with marriage. Growing up, he'd seen relationships fall apart. He said more than once that he wanted to be ready before taking that big step. But fans didn't realize just how unready he was until the wedding day. When that fateful moment came, AD was glowing in her white dress, smiling from ear to ear, ready to say I do. But Clay froze. He told her he couldn't go through with it. He said he wasn't emotionally ready to be a husband. AD stood there in shock. You could see the heartbreak in her eyes. That single moment broke millions of hearts watching from home. Fans were furious. They called Clay out for leading AD on, for letting her get that far just to walk away at the altar. But in his defense, Clay said he didn't want to make a promise he couldn't keep.
Looking back, would you have done things different?
It's one of the biggest things that I struggle with was getting out of my own way. I kind of battle with like the morality of like, am I a good person, am I a bad person? You know, AD really seen me through. She's honestly the love of my life, and I would tell you honestly, I did make a mistake. You know, going to the altar and saying no, it was a big letdown, and I apologize. I love you. You are the love of my life, and it was a mistake.
Do you think you would ever date him again?
Next question.
He claimed it was better to walk away than to lie under the name of love. And maybe he was right, but that didn't make it hurt any less. After the show, AD took time to heal. She didn't bash him, didn't drag him online. She handled it with grace. In interviews, she admitted the pain was real but said it also helped her realize what she truly deserved. AD turned her heartbreak into motivation. She started focusing on herself, traveling, doing brand deals, appearing on podcasts, and stepping into her soft, healed era. Meanwhile, Clay kept a lower profile. He posted reflective quotes about growth and lessons learned.
It's never never saying that AD's finances was a reason why we wouldn't be together. I was saying that I didn't understand it enough for us to get married at this time period. Like, I just want to remind everybody this is 6 weeks, and I'm gonna take ownership that I probably should have had a little bit more conversation about the finances, but I just want to remind everyone that there's so much going on at that time. Every day is a different theme. So we talked about the finances in the pods. What I saw from AD in the pods was a little bit different than what I saw when we were actually in Charlotte together. We vibed off of entrepreneur spirit. We vibed off of working hard. And then when I felt like when we came back to the house, she dedicated all her time to be a wife. And that's cool and everything, but that's not really what I fell in love with her about. Her biggest thing was like, Clay, I got your back, I'm gonna support you. And to me, that's just not a motivation for me to get married, because I have a lot of people that got my back. I kind of want.
He told fans he was working on himself, trying to be a better man. But the world could tell he was still thinking about AD. Every time her name came up in interviews or social media, Clay's energy shifted. He'd smile, but his words would get deeper, more emotional. Fans could see that his heart was still somewhere between what was and what could have been. But then things took a turn. A few months later, AD met someone unexpected, Ollie Sutherland, from Love is Blind UK. Their paths crossed during an event for the Love is Blind franchise, and what started as casual conversations soon turned into something real. They connected over shared experiences. Both had been through heartbreak on reality TV, both understood the pressures of public relationships, and both were looking for something genuine. Their chemistry was undeniable. Fans noticed the signs early: the likes, the flirty comments, the matching posts. Before long, AD and Ollie made it official. They weren't hiding their happiness. They were traveling together, posting cozy photos, and radiating peace. AD looked different, lighter, freer, and genuinely happy. And then came the big moment. During a romantic getaway, Ollie got down on one knee and asked AD to marry him. She said yes. She shared the sweetest photos from the proposal, captioned simply, "Yes, a million times yes." Fans went crazy. Some were in tears, calling it a full circle moment. They said AD finally found the love she deserved, a love that didn't make her question her worth. But others couldn't help but bring up Clay. Was he watching? How would he react? It didn't take long to find out. Just days after AD's engagement news broke, Clay posted something that immediately caught attention. It wasn't a direct message to AD, but the timing said it all. He shared a quote that read, "Everything happens for a reason, sometimes the lesson comes before the blessing." Fans were quick to connect the dots. Was he being mature and reflective? Or was that subtle shade? The internet was divided. Some said Clay was just expressing himself and showing growth. Others felt like he was trying to insert himself into AD's happy moment. A few fans even pointed out that Clay liked tweets implying that AD's heartbreak with him led her to find real love, basically taking credit for her glow-up. That didn't sit right with a lot of people. One fan commented, "So now he wants to act wise and talk about lessons? Where was all that wisdom at the altar?" Another added, "Clay didn't just lose AD, he lost his storyline, and now he's trying to rewrite it." But in Clay's defense, he's always said that walking away from AD was one of the hardest decisions of his life. In past interviews, he admitted he wasn't the man she needed him to be at that time. He said he had to face his own fears, his emotional immaturity, and the guilt of hurting someone who only wanted to love him. That honesty made some fans sympathize with him. They said Clay wasn't being shady, he was just being human. Heartbreak doesn't disappear overnight, and maybe seeing AD move on so publicly brought back feelings he thought were gone. Still, others saw right through it. They accused him of playing the sad ex card just to stay relevant. And let's be real, Love is Blind alumni know how to keep a storyline alive. We've seen it before: the cryptic posts, the reflective interviews, the "I'm happy for her" captions that somehow sound like regrets. And Clay's timing was perfect for attention. After months of being quiet, suddenly he was everywhere again: interviews, podcast appearances, and social media engagement going up by the day. Fans noticed that right after AD's engagement news, Clay's posts started getting more likes, more comments, and more shares. Some people said it was coincidence. Others weren't so sure. One comment summed it up: every time AD shines, Clay suddenly finds his voice. But it wasn't just about jealousy. Deep down, you could tell Clay still carried guilt. He said before that he didn't grow up seeing successful marriages, that he struggled to believe in forever. And watching someone you once loved step into everything you were too afraid to give them, that's a hard pill to swallow. He might not have said it out loud, but his silence spoke volumes. Meanwhile, AD continued to live her best life. She launched a podcast, started speaking about self-worth, boundaries, and healing. She never mentioned Clay directly, but fans caught the shade. She talked about thankful for unanswered prayers, and about learning that rejection can be redirection. It was classy, calm, and powerful, everything Clay's messages weren't. AD's followers praised her for turning pain into purpose. She became a voice for women who've been left hanging by emotionally unavailable partners. And her new relationship with Ollie only amplified that message that you can find love again, and it can be healthy, calm, and secure. As one fan wrote, AD didn't just move on, she leveled up. But here's the twist. While AD's engagement was being celebrated, Clay's supporters started defending him online. They argued that he had a right to feel emotional, even if it came off messy. Some said, he's human. He's allowed to feel regret. Others added, maybe he's just processing it in public like everyone else does. And honestly, they're not wrong. When you've been through a public breakup, your emotions don't magically disappear when your ex moves on. Sometimes, seeing them happy just reminds you of how you messed up. But what made fans question Clay's motives was how he handled it. Instead of simply congratulating AD and moving on, he kept posting vague reflections. He'd write about missed chances, growth through pain, and the one that got away. People could read between the lines. The irony? Just months earlier, Clay said he was open to dating again. He'd been linked to a few women, but nothing stuck. Every time his name trended, it was because of AD. It's like no matter how far he tried to move on, her name followed him. That's the thing about public love stories, they live forever online. When fans compared AD's new relationship to her old one, the difference was crystal clear. With Clay, there were doubts, fears, and emotional walls. With Ollie, there was peace, laughter, and partnership. Ollie wasn't afraid to commit. He saw AD's value right away and didn't hesitate to claim it. That contrast made Clay's regret even more visible. He had the chance, but fear won. And now, the woman who once waited for him at the altar was walking down a new path, one that didn't include him. Some fans believe that Clay's silence followed by his cryptic posts was his way of saying, "That could have been me." Others think he's finally realizing that he can't keep living in what-ifs. Either way, it's clear that AD's happiness has forced Clay to confront his truth. In a recent live stream, a fan asked Clay if he still talks to AD. He paused before answering. Then he said, "We'll always have respect for each other. I'm happy she found what she was looking for." It was calm, but his eyes told another story. That kind of heartbreak doesn't just vanish. So what's next for Clay Gravesande? He's been hinting at a new chapter, one focused on self-improvement and self-love. He's reportedly working on a new project centered around emotional growth, possibly even a podcast. Some fans think he's trying to rebrand himself, showing the world that he's not just the guy who left his fiancée at the altar, but a man learning from his mistakes. But fans aren't easily convinced. One user wrote, "Clay needs to stop talking about growth and start showing it." Another said, "The real growth would have been leaving AD alone and letting her shine in peace." Still, others say maybe this was Clay's wake-up call. Sometimes losing someone you truly care about teaches you lessons no amount of therapy or reflection can. Maybe AD's engagement wasn't just a reminder of what he lost, but a sign that it's time for him to heal, too. Because truthfully, AD has moved on emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. She's thriving, glowing, and living proof that heartbreak isn't the end of your story. And that brings us to the question everyone's asking: was Clay's response genuine, or was it just strategic? Is he a man expressing his real emotions, or a reality star trying to keep his name relevant in a fast-moving world? The line between authenticity and attention is thin, and Clay seems to be walking right on it.